Did you know that 90% of people who try to lose weight actually gain their weight back? But there is a way to be that 10% that keep the weight on. So stick around in this video because I'm going to tell you not only what to do, but how to leverage 5 weight loss tips to help you keep the weight off. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Nicole, and I'm a registered dietitian. I do a lot of work in the media, and my passion is truly combating misinformation out there about nutrition. I'm an evidence-based practitioner, so the tips and advice that I'm going to be giving you is backed by science. Okay, I want to translate nutrition information to you in a really easy to understand manner that you can apply to your life. Tip number 1 is that you must be in a calorie deficit. Okay, so you might be asking, well, what is a calorie deficit? Essentially, it's you consuming less calories than you burn in a day. But what does that actually mean? So you burn a certain amount of calories every single day. So let's just say that bar is right here, okay? Now if you were to eat more than that, so you were eating more than you burn in a day, you'd be gaining weight. Now, if you burned this amount and you ate that same amount, that would be equal to each other and you would maintain the same body weight. Now, being in a calorie deficit means that what you burn, you are consuming less than that. So you're in a calorie deficit and you have to do that in order to lose weight. That's just the law of thermodynamics. What I would suggest is to be a small deficit, about 200 to 300 calories lower than what your maintenance calories is, okay? So being in a calorie deficit, that is number 1. You have to do that. And if you're watching this right now and you are kind of confused and want to track calories but are a little bit unsure of how to do that, let me know in the comments and I will make a future video on that for you. Tip number 2 is to set realistic goals and small goals to start. Okay, most people run into the problem of just setting all these lofty goals where they're gonna go to the gym 6 days a week and they're gonna drink a gallon of water and they're gonna go on the strict diet for 30 days just to drop weight. Okay, that is really unrealistic and unsustainable, and that is one of the things or one of the reasons why people will maybe lose weight and then gain it right back. Okay, so that goal is really unrealistic, it's unsustainable. Okay, so what you would need to do, instead of trying to make this like, I'm gonna lose X amount of pounds in 1 month, give yourself some time, okay? So give yourself like 6 months to lose weight, okay? Have a more realistic expectation of that because weight loss does take time, especially if you're doing it in a healthy manner. So try to focus on one habit instead of like trying to do 5 things at once because that's way too much to take on at once, especially with, your lifestyle, all your responsibilities, everything else that's going on. Okay, so start small, pick one habit to work on. So if we're picking one habit, okay, let's just say that you want to, do more activities. So let's say that you really want to get to the gym because right now you're just, not very consistent with that. Okay, well, let's start there. Let's pick that one habit and let's make it realistic for you. So in order to kind of build consistency, let's start small with that habit. So instead of trying to go to the gym like 6 days a week, right? Let's try doing twice a week and just spread that throughout the week with what fits your schedule. So, for some people that might be Monday, that might be Wednesday. So Monday, Wednesday split, or maybe it might be a Tuesday and a Thursday, or maybe it's like a Wednesday and a Saturday, but something that works for you and your schedule and what's going on in your life. So start there and then build up. So once you get that down for twice a week, then try to do 3 times a week, spread that out. Okay, and tip number 3 is to be careful of snacking. Okay, so a lot of people think that snacking is bad, but snacking isn't bad in and of itself, okay? You can still have a snack and you can lose weight, right? You just have to be in that calorie deficit like we mentioned earlier. So definitely okay to have a snack, but just be careful of how much that you're snacking. So this is where continual grazing can get you in trouble. Not necessarily snacks in and of themselves, but just grazing all throughout the day. So for instance, let's say, you're running to the kitchen between meals and you're just grabbing some snacks, or, you had some bites of something that someone brought to work that day and you're just kind of snacking on that throughout your work day. Or, maybe you're making your kids lunches, and while you're making those lunches, maybe you're starting to snack on some of those items, right? All of those bites of food throughout the day can really add up, and instead of you being in that calorie deficit, you're either at maintenance or you're gaining weight now, okay? So that's the other thing. Be mindful of your snacks. If you want more helpful tips on weight loss, hit that thumbs up button, and that will let me know that you really want to see more videos like this in the future. And tip number 4 is to make sure that you're eating adequate protein throughout the day. So protein is something that helps to keep us filled and satisfied, as well as really support our lean muscle mass. There's 2 things that are really important with protein intake. The first would be that you're having adequate protein, so that would be your total protein intake throughout a day. Now, the second thing that's really important is that you are spreading that intake throughout the day. So not just having like a little bit of protein in the morning and then just a bunch in the evening, okay? We want to spread that protein intake out throughout the day. And that's really important because you are continually stimulating muscle protein synthesis, what we call NPS. That is to help your lean muscle mass, okay? So adequate amount total in the day, and then spread throughout the day as much as you can. Those are the 2 most important things about protein intake. Okay, it's really important to have high quality or value protein throughout the day. Now, one of the sources that I would typically recommend, if this is part of your lifestyle, is to have animal sources of protein. So that could be like chicken or seafood, beef, something like that. And that is because it has all of the different amino acids that your body needs, okay, the adequate amounts. It's a very high quality or a high biological value protein to consume. Now, there are also some plant-based sources of protein that are pretty good sources and have a different array of amino acids. So that could be like quinoa is one of those ones, as well as tofu. Those are 2 really good quality. Now, if you want like a recommendation on, well, like if I'm not tracking my calories, like how do I gauge or know if I'm having a decent amount or a good amount? A good rule of thumb is to think about the palm of your hand. So about that size is a good adequate amount to have at a meal. So let's say you're having like part of a chicken breast. Okay, let's have this amount of a chicken breast on your plate. Same thing if you were a vegetarian, let's say you're having tofu, some firm tofu that you were sauteing on the stove, make sure you have about that much of protein. Now, in terms of how much protein to have, so while you're in a calorie deficit, I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but it's really important to have higher amounts of protein to support your lean muscle mass because you're in a calorie deficit. So usually when you're trying to lose weight, you're going to need a little bit more protein than you would if you were just trying to build lean muscle mass. If that was like your main goal. So in order to do that, what I would typically recommend is 1.8 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of your body weight. That translates to about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight as well. So you can use it as a rough reference. Now, the 5th tip is to make sure that you fill up on vegetables, okay? Most Americans do not consume enough vegetables and fruits even throughout the whole day. So what I would recommend is to start filling up your plate with some more vegetables all throughout the day. Okay, typically we want about 3 to 5 servings of this in a day. So if you're not really having enough, again, start small with a habit and just try to add maybe another 1 more serving a day of vegetables and continue to build that into your routine. So vegetables have plenty of micronutrients in them, like vitamins and minerals. They have dietary fiber, which can help to keep you full when you're on a calorie deficit, and it can also help to support your gut health as well. The great thing about vegetables is that they're a very high volume food. Like a cup of broccoli and a cup of chips have different calorie amounts to them, right? The broccoli is filled with lots of fiber. It's got water content in it, and that is very filling, versus having a cup of chips. There's a difference between the 2. Now, in terms of a serving size of a cooked vegetable is about half a cup, and a raw or an uncooked vegetable, like a leafy green, for instance, for salads, would be about a cup that's packed a little bit for those greens. So that would be, your serving size roughly for each one. Now, the easiest way to incorporate this throughout your day is to try to have a vegetable with each meal, and that'll give you at least 3 servings. You might have a little bit more than half a cup cooked or something for your dinner, so you could really easily hit that 3 to 5 servings. So what I would recommend is, like right now, if you're only having maybe a vegetable at dinner time, try to add a vegetable in at lunch, and again, just try to do these habits that are small, sustainable, to really help you with your weight loss journey. If you want to see some recipes to help you with your weight loss, be sure to click that video. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more tips from a dietitian.